I keep getting this video linked to me over the last few days from guy Bellular News, but apparently they're actually a WoW creator. I was like, wait, that's kind of like me, where they do a bunch of like WoW gaming stuff, and then they do some like new stuff as well, talking about like other games and other things around gaming, and I kind of do that as well, even though I'm mostly going to be swapping all of that over to Flex TV from Flex 2. But I was like, that's really, really interesting because it makes, you know, sense to me right now as it comes into the Overwatch space. And I've had a lot of people link it to me through my Hot Topics channel in Discord, where I have people typically send me like non-Overwatch stuff. But, you know, yeah, I figured I would at least take a gander at it and take a little peek, because I always like to try to keep a perspective of outside gamers as well, not just like in the Overwatch space, because there's a lot of good I think Overwatch does, but then there's sometimes a lot of bad. Like, for example, this season is not my favorite for a multitude of reasons, but I do think that there's a lot of good that comes out of it. Like the scoreboard changes, like small stuff like that are great, and constantly like building up the game to like actually feel like a 2, not just like one Overwatch 1.5, right? So I figured I'd give it a quick watch, see what they have to say, and yeah, let's get going.
Respect a game. How can you respect a game when it can't even respect itself? Overwatch 2 has made that question more important than ever. We've seen another season, and with it, another way to squeeze more money from the game. And now, more than ever, it hits hard. Overwatch 2 is 2 years old. PvE is dead, its formula is just depressing, and the direction of travel is clearly worse. Warcraft, Blizzard's own franchise, one of the greatest of the last 20 to 30 years, was treated no different from Transformers or Porsche. Season 13 then added another way to monetize atop a fresh, overpriced push of bullshit that happened through this summer. And nothing...
So, okay, so my question is, what would you have wanted from the World of Warcraft collab, right? Because the World of Warcraft collab kind of felt like it did come out of nowhere a little bit. It was just like an extra thing for the season. Because like first off, I just want to say season 12 was pretty good overall. It was one of the better seasons. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I feel like most of the extra fun game modes that come with a collab, other than the La Seraphim one, which again, I didn't like the grind, but I understand everything around it was great, are typically not that good. Okay, here's the big problem. For a lot of people, Overwatch is just a skin collecting game. But you don't have to buy them, right? At the same time. Like, the skins don't affect your gameplay 99% of the time, unless there's something bugged, like the MHA skins, which was kind of funny for the one day that it was bugged. But like, as long as it's not affecting the gameplay, it should be fine. Mostly. Not everything, but mostly.
Sets the tone of today's video better than this excerpt from Jason Schreier's book. In an interview with a developer, a dev essentially recounted the launch and what it was like. Here's what they said.
Oh, I saw this.
Said, you worked 6 years in this. No, we worked for 1 year in this. We spent all those other years on all the PvE stuff. People said it looked unfinished, said the developer. That's because it was.
This is obvious. I remember I called this out at the time. I literally called this out at the time it happened. And I remember I got a bunch of shit for it, because I said from the first time we got to see 5v5 and also Overwatch 2 versus 6 months later, totally different looking game. I was like, there is no way that was that is an incredible amount of work for 6 months. What was going on for the 3 or 4 years before that? That's insane. There's no way this shit was 6 months of, like, if that's 6 months of work, what happened before that, right? It's because they crunched it out. Like, they did only work on it for like a year.
Yeah, Overwatch 2 was screwed from the beginning, and with
But like, we know all of that. It was because of the PvE shit. Like, we know that. At some point, we have to all look and say, that shit's dead and gone. How do we make it better? And we move on. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying that we should let them forget it. I'm saying, like, at what point do you go, okay, that shit's over now. There's nothing we can do. How do we make the game of today better? And what decisions are you making today to make the future better? Because if you're constantly trying to make it better, at least from today, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But if you're not making decisions today that make it better, then that's where we have problems.
Microsoft gutting the Overwatch team, deleting the PvE team, things would only get worse. Gilded aspects are not a thing in Diablo, even though they sound like it. They are an Overwatch thing, one squarely, absurdly aimed at the whales. It is so unashamed of itself that I almost commend them for having the stones. Here's how it works.
This one I am actually unironically 100% with him with.
Gilded aspects are palette
This is gross.
mythic skins, right? They're a black and gold color scheme, but I think we should really talk about them in Blizzard's own words because they really communicate the value in this macro transaction.
This is bullshit. And the reason why I say this is bullshit is because they don't even follow the laws of their own store. They don't even, like, I will tell you, like, I've always said this. People always get mad though. You're a Blizzard shill. If you don't want something, you just don't buy it, and that's it. Granted. Yeah, you can sometimes go, yeah, that's a little much, but like overall, it doesn't affect the gameplay. This doesn't even follow their own laws, though, because their law in the game is 50 to unlock the skin and then 10 mythic prisms to unlock each level, right? Up to 80 prisms for the full thing. Gilded aspects are 20. So it's an unlock that costs 2 levels.
I think we should really talk about them in Blizzard's own words because they really communicate the value in this macro transaction. For the first time, you can enhance fully maxed out Mythic hero skins with their prestigious gilded aspects from the Mythic shop, launching with the sleek black and gold color variants for those looking to push the limits of customization. That's right, folks, we're pushing the limits. Future seasons will expand these aspects to include Mythic weapon skins.
This dude makes sick WoW videos. Yeah, a lot of people recommended this guy to me and said there's really good stuff, which is why I was like, okay, fuck. Because, like, I don't typically watch the super hyper Overwatch sucks, Blizzard sucks. It's like, you know, rehashing the same arguments 90 million times. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, dude, I've heard all of it. I know what's good and I know what's bad at this point. I could tell you that. So I want to hear an outside perspective that's also well put together. And so far, well put together.
Isn't that exciting? They got one thing right. Limits certainly are being pushed. As skins, these are fine. Blizzard have got good artists, right? The problem, though, is how these are being sold. And this is where the whaling comes in. You see, these technically are a customization option for Mythic skins. The way it works is that you buy these, but they can only be applied to a fully leveled up Mythic skin, right? So you fully level up your Mythic skin, then you acquire and apply the gilded aspect. A producer working on the project clarified that these are in the Mythic shop, purchased with Mythic prisms, but said that the price is not public and that it's not up to their team. Lovely, and I suspect we won't hear from the other team who are doing the pricing. Now, remember how all of...
When did this come out? 3 days ago. When did the season launch? 3 days ago? Oh, so this was actually made before the price actually came public. So here I am in the future, able to fact check and to tell. It's 20 Mythic prisms.
This works. To earn enough Mythic prisms to fully unlock a Mythic skin, you need to purchase and complete the entire Battle Pass for a season. Beyond that, though, you can buy prisms directly. In the US, prisms are $1 a pop. Yes, $1 a pop. To max out a skin is 80 prisms, meaning we are talking about $80 skins.
See, though, that's the thing. The Battle Pass every season will give you 80. So if you spend $10 on the Battle Pass and you level up the Battle Pass, you'll get 80 prisms. That is supposed to be combined with the Mythic that comes out with the Battle Pass, because the way the Battle Pass used to be structured was that at the end of the Battle Pass, you'd get your Mythic. So they've changed the system to the store format, which we have now. And that store format allows people that maybe missed previous Mythics, they can buy them for prisms, which obviously then it becomes $80. Because you have to buy it through the prisms. Or the alternative is you don't buy that current season's Mythic and you buy an old Mythic using the 80 prisms you get from the Battle Pass. So it's not $80, it's 80 prisms, which you can earn 80 through the Battle Pass each season when you get the premium Battle Pass, which is $10. The problem, though, is there's also now Mythic weapons. So every season there is a Mythic weapon paired with a Mythic skin. So if you decide to buy the Mythic skin, you cannot get the Mythic weapon because you're not going to have the 80 prisms for the Mythic weapon because you bought it with your 10. Your 80 prisms with the $10 purchase. Sometimes, though, what they end up doing, what they did last season, they do a bundle. And so they give you, so for like $40, they'll give you like the whole Mythic skin. So instead of 80, 80 prisms. You buy it outright for $40 with no prisms. And then also they'll give you like a skin or some coins or some shit on top of it. And so it's much cheaper to buy it like during the little mini event than to spend money on prisms later and then buy it again. Granted, what appears to me is the whole point of the Mythic shop was to allow players to buy old Mythics that they might have missed for that high tier price. You want to argue that skin shouldn't be that kind of money? I'm down. That's not what we're doing. That's what I'm not here for right now, though. I'm only here to talk about the argument. I'm trying to clarify things that maybe aren't fully hashed out here. And you know what? We want to talk about skins being super, super expensive. I'm actually with you. I don't even know why we call them microtransactions anymore. They're more like macro transactions, but they're options. That's the thing at the end of the day. They're options, and it's a free-to-play game. And without the free-to-play game, then, well, guess what? Overwatch wouldn't be doing too hot. And it probably wouldn't be getting very many updates, because that's what happened in Overwatch 1 when the game doesn't make much money. It doesn't get much content. Unfortunately, there's a lot of shit that goes into that. Again, let's just keep going though.
That being said, I must be fair to them. The best value bundle is, of course, the 75 bundle, because it comes with 25 prisms free. Just amazing value for $75. Now, the way it works...
Really, it's the battle pass, but anyways.
Mythic skins cost 50 prisms, and then they've got upgrade levels, and leveling them up to max costs another 30 in total, meaning 80 prisms, and yes, that does mean $80 skins. And yeah, you get 80 prisms by completing the battle pass, but each battle pass adds a full Mythic skin worth 80 prisms. And so the point was that every pass had 80 prisms, and every season that came along with that pass would add one more, which in total would be worth 80. But that's obviously ended up changing because of the addition of the Mythic weapon skins. The Reinhardt and Ana ones follow the same pricing model. It's 50 for the base skin, and then they've got upgrade levels, meaning 80 each.
I'm going to let it keep going. I'm not going to pause that much anymore.
Every season adds a battle pass that gives you the ability to earn 80, but it adds 160 Mythic prisms worth of purchase opportunities. And that's all without this new system. So how hard will Blizzard go for this system? Will it be 20 prisms for the gilded thing, right? Maybe a little bit of flourish on top of your $80 skin, for $100 in total? Maybe it'll be that. Maybe, though, it'll be quite a bit more. I mean, they're black and gold. They're prestigious. Why not charge 40 prisms? And yeah, you might think, well, that's...
It was only 20. If you were saying 40,
and
it's
they
20.
Could probably say to themselves,
only,
sure,
but still.
This is really meant for the sort of person that's just going to buy the battle pass, earn a bunch of prisms, and only buy things on the one character they care about. But that is obviously just an excuse. The pricing model here is designed to fully extract cash from the whales. And so slowly but surely they've spent 2024 squeezing everything that they can. And funny enough,
this isn't what to do with this point. This is something completely different. That's why I'm pausing. Why do people have a problem with the whales? Like, real talk. Like, why are they mad at them? I talked about it when they released the new skins for the season. I talked about the Mercy players and how they're kind of getting like, I don't want to say used, but maybe sort of used, is like they always get Mercy skins because like they know they'll buy it, right? Because maybe Mercy players have the most amount of whales, and it's like, well, you keep always buying those skins, like you're not gonna get other characters are probably not gonna get much because you're kind of like reinforcing it, which is why my whole thing was like, maybe if you don't really want this reskin, maybe don't buy it, right? If people like these items and they want to spend their money on it, right? Who cares? It's their money. It's not yours. But if we want to have the argument that it's too expensive and that because the items are so expensive, most people can't or won't buy them, but because whales do buy them, they won't lower the price. Maybe that's the argument behind it, is like the reason why. Okay, let's say like a skin is $10, right? And that skin is like really expensive for a player, right? Well, if nobody buys the $10 skin, maybe they'll start selling them at $7 or $5, right? Maybe that's the line of thinking. But because all of these whales are buying it at $10, they'll never lower the price. So you can't have that item yourself because like so many people are keeping it as a high priced item. But at the same time, though, is that actually the logic that gets applied? Because that already happens with skins, right? So like, there's a part of the shop called like the For You section, and it's just basically, at least from what I've seen, either skins you don't own or skins that you don't own that didn't sell well. I never see any really, really good skins in my For You shop. I always see people get really mad at like whales in games buying shit, but it's like they're funding the game too. Like your game that you might love is getting supported by these people. That doesn't make them bad people.
That's not even the bit that's most offensive to me. It is the fact that they cannot even respect their own IP, their own work, their own foundations. And here's a contrast to all of that. Our foundation is bellular.games. Over there, our members actually get something real. So that means you get our videos ad-free. You get all of our...
What are whales? Sorry, if you don't know what a whale is, whales in video games are typically referred to people that spend lots of money on games, typically hundreds to thousands of dollars, typically on like skins or heroes. Like it kind of originally came, I think, from like gacha games, like your Honkai Star Rails, your Zenless Zone Zeros, right? Like people that want to spend lots of money on basically like unlocking new characters, right? They spend all this money unlocking new characters and then like skins for those characters, right? And so they will spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on these. It originally came from marks by con artists. You might be right. Where I first heard about it was with gacha games. Point is, like, people would spend extra money on trying to get these items. Like the average free-to-play player, let's say, logs in every day and gets like one free loot box, right? But a whale might sign in and decide to buy 100 loot boxes, right? And so you play every day and you get one loot box and then one loot box and then one loot box. It's going to take you 100 days to get the amount of items that this player who is a whale just said, I want it now, and gets it right then. So they get the 100 right at that moment. And then if they also play it for 100 games, then now they have 200 loot boxes. So they have 100 more loot boxes than you because they spent the money, right? Like they earn more, they get more stuff out of it. So that's like a brief one.
Reports, and you get a fresh edition of Loading Screen in your email inbox every single weekday. We shift through all the big stories, everything you need to know about the upcoming games, and we basically keep you in the loop in a way where you don't see ads, you don't get algorithms, you can just have a read and enjoy it, and it's simple and it's calm. You can check it all out below with a free trial today. And with that said, happy anniversary to Overwatch and Warcraft. Yeah, we got to talk about the anniversary event. These had declined through the years and they just ended up being a way to sell some skins. 2024 is that, but in a way you wouldn't know it. That's because Overwatch was not the star of its own birthday. Warcraft was, perfectly timed for the war within. And it stung. Warcraft, a pillar of Blizzard. I mean, World of Warcraft, the game that basically got Blizzard infinity mega forever money that was able to fund things like Overwatch. Well, it got the exact same treatment as Porsche and Transformers. That's because Overwatch has a problem. Overwatch can't make new content. Xbox cut everything from its team. PvE is gone. I take exception because Warcraft is Blizzard. It is their heritage. And the only thing out of all of this that had any form of what you may call sauce was the trailer. Yeah, the people who put together the advertisement for all of these
the trailers are so
they basically made it like a dark ride in a theme park, full of flavor, lovely work, but an ad for the thing that you buy, nothing actually to play. You see, in the past in Overwatch, things like the Halloween event would have a PvE game mode. They'd have
I have no problem with the trailers being good, though.
Characters as
I see the point, though.
They could actually be really damn hard and, like, actually good video game, not just a throwaway trash event. They were goddamn content, and for so many of us, they were a reason to fire up Overwatch that was not an endless competitive grind.
I actually kind of agree. I agree with them. I just want to point that out. But I want to offer a perspective that, because I'm in the future, I have now the perspective of the new season. They added that game mode, which is the Junkenstein event. I would assume that Junkenstein event with all the extra like cards and things that you could do, and all like this, almost like the skill trees, like in the game mode, probably took a lot of work. So I would assume that they made the decision to work on that and make it good. No, not the Diablo one. I'm talking about the one that's currently live right now. The Junkenstein event that is currently being in the game, where you can get like skill trees, where you get cards every match, where you can like, there's like for the Kiri one, there's like the nuclear missile she can goddamn shoot, like the little rockets. I assume that they made the decision to work on that and make it good, as opposed to make a small mini event for World of Warcraft. That's what I think.
So here we have Thrall, Magni, Sylvanas, and Arthas, as well as past skins like Blood Elf Symmetra, Black Hand, Tyrande, Illidan, and stuff. And you might think, what if there was gameplay here? I mean, it's PvE. What if we're fighting the Scourge? The Lich King is there to be the big final enemy. Wouldn't that be cool? Give Reinhardt's Hammer Slam some sort of
PvE is kind of bad, though.
Give him Defile. Oh, all the Warcraft people will
Except
come
the
over and play Overwatch too.
Joker Queen
and the Overwatch
one.
players will get to reminisce of back when they played WoW. And the funny thing is, back in 2023, when they still had PvE staff, Diablo 4 launched, and it launched with Trials of Sanctuary, a co-op survival brawl where you played
this was
with
cool,
different Diablo
but not my favorite.
Heroes. You explored through the cathedral.
Really cool, not my favorite.
That changed up your abilities. You had boss fights against Diablo enemies.
But I know that a lot of people loved it,
like
and I can acknowledge that.
It was awesome. It was gameplay. It was fun. And that's the point. We should expect good content. The War Within's launch could have added a Xal'atath skin. I mean, they've put her in Diablo, why not put her in here too? How about you do something crazy like a game mode? Even thinking about the business basics, you have got millions of people playing Overwatch 2, right? Big free-to-play game. You got all of those people. One of those PvE events would have been a really good way to introduce those people to the big villain in your new expansion, just like they did with Lilith in the Diablo event. And because there was content, it felt like an event. It was fun. Maybe fun enough that you'd want to buy a skin, because you might have spent 4 hours trying to get all the achievements.
That's such a good point. Okay, I don't follow WoW, so I didn't know what he was. I honestly couldn't follow what he was saying. But so that there's a new enemy, a new villain in the WoW universe that came out recently, I guess, with like the new expansions, I'm guessing. Diablo came out last year around the same time that they pull out the Lilith Halloween skin. And it hit because like I had just played Diablo. I didn't think of that. I had just played Diablo, and so that's why I was like, oh, that skin's sick. Like I loved like the Moira skin, right? That's a very good point. I wonder if they could have and should have probably done that with the WoW collab. I didn't even know that was a thing. I genuinely have no clue. Damn.
You almost feel like,
that's a very good point.
I enjoyed that. Sure, I'll buy a skin. I got some value. Here, though, there is nothing. It is just a cash grab, a blatant $50 mega bundle push. That's it. So low effort, it's an insult to players, it's an insult to their own brand, and evidence that they are no longer able to make content. Because last year, when they did a collab to celebrate a Blizzard game release, they were able to ship content with it. And funnily enough, it even shows Overwatch can't respect itself. This Warcraft collab ate into Overwatch's own anniversary. Its own anniversary was barely marketed. It was little of note. And that's because Overwatch is about one thing and one thing only. It's about selling skins. It may not be that to the people working on it want to make an amazing competitive shooter, and whenever
I said that I didn't like the anniversary, and it felt kind of like, eh. And I didn't really like that they brought back like April Fools and stuff. And I know a lot of people were like, well, that's the point. They always bring back old stuff for anniversary. But like, yeah, anniversary was always old stuff and something new. And there wasn't anything new this year. It kind of felt, eh.
I've played Overwatch 2. I mean, I might have some criticisms, but big picture, it's a bloody good game. But the game isn't the point, because the game is not what brings in money. And looking into the near future, it's pretty clear that's going to remain the case. Here's the Season 13 key art, a gorgeous Mythic Widowmaker skin, a somehow worth $80 Soldier 76 Mythic weapon, a purchasable Mercy Legendary, and My Hero Academia right up there front and center, because everything is a sell. To be fair, there is a new Halloween game mode, but it is eyebrow-raising. It's a PvP mode with pickups that alter your abilities. It's kind of similar to community-created Mirrorwatch and Balanced Overwatch, which were similar ones that are also returning that they had done.
I don't even blame him for this take. I actually thought that this probably wasn't going to be that great either, because typically the PvP events are not that great that they put out, but this is really good. I will say it's frustrating. I hate that they put a risk in, and that the RNG sometimes really does f you up a little bit, and it sucks when you get RNG rolled and they get amazing stuff. But I think most people agree it's really good.
Before,
it's like a sneak peek into like what Overwatch could have been.
The thing is, it doesn't really have a lot of content. I mean, it's not PvE. It's not like those other events.
I can't even fault this take because it was before it came out.
It's an effort, an honest effort, I'm sure, but it is lower scope. It is lower budget, because Overwatch 2 is about managing a core game and then putting all of your resources into squeezing its audience in the most efficient way that you can. Even if that means that future Overwatch content is no longer about making new legendary skins that tells the story of characters, that begins to build the world of Overwatch so that one day it could actually be
I'd argue
more.
with that one.
No, gone are those days. Now it is brands, now it is things you recognize, because the Fortnite-ification of everything very much came to Overwatch. And the funny thing is that even if this mode is great, it's drowned out by marketing that's laser-focused on microtransactions.
I saved 7k credits for the anniversary shop just for it to not return. I'm worried that with a winter fair won't return either. I really liked it. Even if there's some issues with it, choosing what I want was really fun. I agree with you. And actually, you know what's funny? I think that was something I noticed as well. It was like anniversary events, you could always go back and get old skins. You know what I mean? Like the ones from that year or previous years that you would miss. I don't think that happened this year.
The thing, though, is they are trying to cook up something for the future. So let's talk about that. I can't imagine how bad Overwatch 2 team morale must be, because you see, if you cut through the marketing, all of these stupid eye-roll things, you can see they're doing work. I mean, Havana, Circuit Royale, Dorado, and Nambani have all been reworked. That's a load of map reworks. We're still getting new heroes. We're still getting new maps. They've actually stuck to the schedule they said they would stick to, and that is fairly impressive. We've also just seen this rather curious job listing. It's a 6-month contract for a product marketing consultant who will, quote, support the marketing team with go-to-market planning and execution of a major feature for the Overwatch 2. Yeah.
Wait, what? Did we ever look at this? Marketing team in Irvine on a 6-month contract. This individual will support the marketing team with go-to marketing or market planning and execution of a major feature for Overwatch 2. Oh, the mobile version? Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Don't speak that into goddamn existence. Don't you dare speak mobile into existence, okay? I have a feeling it's being worked on, but Jesus Christ, don't do that to me right now. Major feature. You guys are all saying 6v6? The 6v6 is a play test. It's not an absolute certainty that it will even stay, obviously. In my own personal opinion, I think what it's going to do is it's just going to divide it even more. I don't think it's going to solve anything. But I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be great. Like, I'm actually very much looking forward to it. I don't think it's going to solve anything, though. Hey. Just saying. I don't think they would need a marketing team to be brought, or a new person for marketing consulting to be brought in for that, though. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it does say the Overwatch 2. Yeah, slick typo, guys. But anyway, something is coming. We don't exactly know what it is, but it's a major release. With that, we know they're cooking up something, but assessing the overall situation, the PvE teams are gone. It has been corroborated through many sources, though Blizzard will not admit it. We see a big Warcraft event to celebrate an expansion release, a big game release, but it didn't have a proper event in Overwatch 2. It had all the microtransactions of a proper event, but as compared to what happened in 2023, where there was a bit of a PvE team, yeah, it was pretty much nothing. And of course, Jason Schreier's book showed us how screwed Overwatch 2 was.
You're assuming there's a feature? I know we all like a little bit of doom and gloom, but like, you don't make something like this to hopefully debate some random YouTuber. Like, that's not real. Like, if this exists, that means there is something. I have my own suspicions. Because remember back when they announced and they did that quick play hacked where there was like random passives? There was the random passives, and now we have the Halloween event. Like, I remember there was a podcast like over a year ago, right? Someone can go back and find it. Over a year ago, I was on the SVB podcast, and I said that wouldn't it have been cool if Overwatch did like what Apex was doing? Because like Apex had announced at the time that they were going to do like that skill trees thing, right? Where it was like you could level up your abilities throughout the thing, and you could basically like choose your play style. I was like, what if Overwatch had something like that, right? Where like you could lean, like if you were playing Junkrat, right? Like there's certain Junkrat like players who like to do like the super like mine in, jump on someone's head and delete them. Or maybe there's like the spamming one, right? Like what if Overwatch had something like that where you not only like, it wasn't just like everyone complaining about balance all the time, myself included, but like you could balance the game almost yourself by choosing your own path and playing the game you want, the way you want to play it, right? I made that prediction way back then. And I still have that sneaking suspicion to this day that that would be really good. So, like, I'm just saying, dude. I'm just saying. The point is, at the end of the day, they don't make a post like that to debate some random YouTuber looking through LinkedIn. Like,
yeah, it was pretty much
that means
nothing.
there is something.
And of course, Jason Schreier's book showed us how screwed Overwatch 2 was in general, that it was a game basically shot out in a year after the thing they actually wanted to make and had spent 5 years on was unceremoniously killed. Every Overwatch superfan that I know quit, and I'm talking about the people from the original 2016 cohort who, even though they do not like competitive shooters, fell in love with Overwatch, spent money in Overwatch, people who lived and breathed the damn thing. The exact people who Overwatch 2 was made for, and the people who, had they been retained, may actually have purchased some of the various microtransactions they're now making. Overwatch should have been the next big IP, far bigger than it is right now. It should have had that cultural relevance. It was supposed to have a Netflix series. Imagine that.
Oh, yeah.
Netflix, multiple seasons, big story, build out.
Well, hang on. We know what happened in the Netflix series, actually.
The world. Combine on top of that the ongoing...
We actually know what happened. They sued Netflix for stealing their CFO.
PvP that, in fairness, they're working damn hard, they're grinding out, delivering that PvP, and then add to that the expansive PvE that they spent years building. There is a grand, more unified vision of what Overwatch was supposed to be, but it's one that was murdered in favor of a storefront as a service, which is what we have got right now, where the game basically exists as a vehicle for microtransaction banners. It's sad. Right now, the Warcraft team is genuinely building back its reputation. They are genuinely shipping a shitload of content, and the value has went way up versus so many times in the past. They are showing everything that a Blizzard team could do right within the current framework of Blizzard. Meanwhile, Overwatch is showing the exact opposite. And if you'd enjoy the profile of another company in deep decline that is trying to tell everybody that they've realized they're in deep decline, check out this about Paradox Interactive next.
Really good video. They're pretty well informed on this stuff. It's hard to argue with some of it. I do think that obviously a little bit of the framing is a little bit unfair, just about like the whole prisms and like, it's, oh, you're always going to spend $80. Like, nah, that's not true. But like, if you're a collector and you want everything, you will have to definitely spend some big money. But if you're not a collector and you're okay with picking and choosing things and like, you get something here and you get something there, game will be decently kind to you. Also pair that with, they changed the coin system, so you get extra coins every season in the free battle pass, so you can actually buy the battle pass every other season still for free without spending any money, which again, granted, you know, like, is that amazing? No, of course not. Like, people look at like Fortnite's battle pass, like, I can buy it every season without spending $1. Yeah, but at the same time though, I'm sure Fortnite looks back at that and goes, oh, I wish we didn't do that, because the game has to make money. But Fortnite also is Fortnite, like, we all know Fortnite's the juggernaut game, right? Like, we all look at it and we go, yeah, they have a bajillion collabs and that game literally shits out money. Not every game is Fortnite. So like, yeah, Fortnite gives you the free battle pass every season if you just grind the game. But like, can we also look at the fact that Fortnite's just different? Like, it's a little different than everyone else. You can't really hold everyone to that same standard. You can't hold someone to the same standard of, oh, look at, they're doing this thing for free, but also not look at the other end of the financials that they're just shitting out money left and right and they have it everywhere, right? So like, I also feel on, like, sometimes it's a little bit unfair. That being said though, the gilded aspects thing is bullshit. I don't like that. I mean, I'll probably do more thoughts on it at some point in the future. This is probably my least favorite season in a while, for various reasons. But I do think the Junket Sign event's a shining light in it. I think it was really good. And the video was really good. It was really good. It's nice to hear the perspective of people outside of Overwatch sometimes.